NYC, welcome back to the Money Lab. I'm Kara Stevens, your resident WorkWell NYC money coach. And if you're new here, this channel is all about helping you build financial resilience, heal your relationship with money, and create wealth with confidence. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, tap the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. Trust me, you don't want to miss these money conversations that will make your financial goals doable and possibly even fun. Today, we're going deep into the topic of debt. Let's start by looking at the types of debt many city employees juggle. Debt isn't just credit cards or student loans. We're talking about 6 different types of debt. First, there's mortgages, which are loans to buy your home. Usually the largest debt, but often with a lower interest rate. Second, there are car notes, loans for vehicles. Higher interest rate than mortgages, but smaller balances. Then there are credit cards, which are revolving debt with typically high interest rates. Fourth, we have personal loans, which are unsecured loans for things like home renovations or debt consolidation. And for the 5th type of debt is business debt. Loans or credit lines for your business. Necessary sometimes, but stressful if revenue is unpredictable. And 6th is your student loan debt. Loans for education, federal or private with varying interest rates and repayment rules. Knowing your debt types and their balances and interest rates is the first step in choosing the right payoff strategy. And before we continue, a quick finance tip. When we talk about interest, you'll hear the term APR, which stands for annual percentage rate. That's basically the cost of borrowing money over a year, including fees and interest. The higher the APR, the more your debt grows if you don't pay it. Now that we know what we're dealing with, let's talk about strategies. Today we're covering 3 approaches: debt snowball, debt avalanche, and my favorite, the debt snowflake method. First up, the debt snowball. And yes, the name is intentional. Think about a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow and gets bigger and faster. That's exactly how this method works for debt. You start by paying off your smallest balance first. Seeing that first debt disappear gives you momentum and motivation. Then you take the money you were paying on the debt and roll it into the next smallest balance. Over time, your payments gain speed, just like a snowball rolling downhill, until all of your debts are gone. Now here is an example of this in play. Let's just say you have 3 credit cards with the following balances: $250, $500, and $1,000. So what you'll do is pay minimums on the $500 and the $1,000 and throw all extra money toward the balance with $250. Once that's gone, roll that freed up money into the $500 balance, and so on. The snowball keeps getting bigger until you're debt free. With the snowball method, you list all of your debts from smallest balance to largest and focus on paying off the smallest first while making minimum payments on the others. Now, why does this work? Because it gives you quick wins. Seeing one debt disappear motivates you to keep going. Next is the debt avalanche, and the name says it all. Imagine a snow-covered mountain. When an avalanche starts at the top, it crashes down with tremendous force, sweeping everything in its path. That's how this method works. You focus on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first, while making minimum payments on all other debts. Once that debt is gone, you move on to the next highest interest rate debt, and so on and so forth. Debt avalanche method is designed to save you the most money on interest because high interest debt is tackled first, like an avalanche crushing obstacles as it rolls down the mountain. Now let's go back to those 3 credit cards that we talked about in the previous example of $250, $500, and $1,000. But now let's add on the interest. In this case, the balance of $1,000 has a 22% interest rate. On the 500 is a 15% interest rate, and on the 250 is a 20% interest rate. In this case, you pay the minimums on the 500 and 250 and put all extra money toward the $1,000, not because it's the largest debt, but because it's the debt with the highest interest. Once that's gone, roll the freed up money into the next debt with the next highest interest rate, which would be the debt of $250 with the 20% interest rate. Think of it as the logical money saving method, while the snowball method is the emotional, motivational method. So which is better? It really depends on you. With the snowball method, it's great if you need motivation and quick wins. For the avalanche method, it's best if you want to save the most money on interest. Personally, when I was eliminating $65,000 worth of credit card and student loan debt, I started with the debt snowball method. Seeing small balances disappear kept me motivated. Later, I switched to the avalanche method to save money on interest. Now, my favorite method is the debt snowflake method. Think snowflakes. Each is tiny, but when they pile up, they can shut down the city. That's how the debt snowflake method works. Every extra bit of money, whether it be $5, $10, $20, goes towards debt. Skip that expensive coffee, that's $7, put that towards your balance. Got a refund? Apply it to your loan. Found $10 in your jeans? Don't spend it, send it towards debt. Small payments directly towards the principal of debt stops interest in its tracks. And over time, they can eliminate a mountain of debt. Now here's a quick question for you. How many of you could find an extra $10 today? Drop a comment below. Now here are some secondary strategies that I want you to think about. Once you've mastered the basics, you can consider these secondary strategies like balance transfers and personal loans. Balance transfers is where you move high interest credit card debt to a card with a 0% introductory APR. This can save money if you pay it off before the promo ends. Risks with this include transfer fees, high interest after the intro, and overspending on your old card. Only use this after you've mastered budgeting. And then there are personal loans. This is where you take one loan to pay off multiple debts, which simplifies payments and possibly lowers interest rates. But here are the risks. Without discipline, you might rack up new debt, or a long-term loan could cost more in interest. Think of it as a tool, not a fix. It works only if you're disciplined. So if you ever wondered, can you combine methods? The answer is yes. Snowflake complements both snowball and debt avalanche methods. For example, you start with the snowball method and the snowflake method for quick wins, or the avalanche method and the snowflake method to save on interest. Now, New York City, here's the takeaway. You need to focus on what works for your personality, your budget, and your lifestyle. Debt elimination is part mindset and it's part math. Now, here are some possible next steps for you to consider. Review your debt strategy and ask yourself, could you add the snowflake method? Could secondary strategies like a balance transfer help once you've mastered the basics? And as a bonus, view WorkWell NYC's video, It's All About the Budget, and learn how to create a budget that works for your needs and determine how much you can pay towards your debt right now. Now here's some bridge to practice work that I want you to get into after you watch this video. I want you to ask yourself, as you review your debt strategy, could you add the debt snowflake method to what's already working? Or could you add a secondary strategy like a balance transfer to help once you've mastered the basics? And as a next step, consider viewing other WorkWell NYC on-demand videos to learn more about other financial wellness topics. Make an appointment at an NYC Financial Empowerment Center for free, confidential, personalized guidance to support you in reaching your financial goals. And don't forget to access the city's free student loan support resource called Summer, a student loan management tool and resource available to all city employees. And please be sure to visit the links in the video descriptions and learn more. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to WorkWell NYC for more tips and strategies. I'm Kara Stevens, your resident money coach, and I'll see you in the next video.